to eat of your flesh. Make
WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
You've been a constant friend indeed. You were right there, providing for me.
God bless you. God bless you. I'm Pastor Tremaine Forbes. We're on Awesome Radio Network this morning. What a great way to start your day. Real talk for real men. And I have with me,
Pastor Dan Lawson, United Gospel Outreach Church.
I also have with me,
Elder Nat Farrow, Kingdom of Heaven Ministries in Greenville.
and our very, very special guest is,
Senior Pastor Daniel Moore, Kingdom of God Deliverance Church.
Lord, he said senior pastor. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
All right now.
I'm
he's
not
playing.
saying, I didn't say senior pastor. I just said
Yeah,
pastor.
let me start over.
I got some
then.
work to do.
That is wonderful. So where's your church located, Pastor?
We're located on 2001 Charles Boulevard in Greenville, North Carolina, right across the street from the mall.
Yeah, y'all are doing a amazing work over there. I looked online and I saw my wife. I can't remember, somebody, it might have been my sister or my wife, had told me during the time October 31st about the event that y'all had for the kids.
Yes.
And we made sure that we funneled as many kids as we could get over to you. Tell us about that.
Yes. Yeah, we had an event for the kids. Instead of having, we don't quite believe in what Halloween is doing. So we had an event for the kids to come out and enjoy themselves. And I think we had about over 200 some kids that we provided food for, games, just did a lot of things with them. We had gospel music. We did some gospel games that we had on table games and just had a good time.
That is wonderful. Why was it important to give the kids an alternative for that particular night?
Just to get them to not focus on somewhat how the world is doing things. The world has a way of portraying things that is not of God, and we wanted to bring a God or a spiritual approach to overshadow that, and that's what our attendance was to do.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Look, tell us a little bit about yourself.
From a small town, Roper, North Carolina.
Good old Roper.
We might have 500 people live there.
Go ahead now.
It's almost to Plymouth, right? Almost to Plymouth.
Almost in Plymouth. Went to school in a small school, Crestwell.
Okay.
Did some college. Got out of college and went into the military and went into the Navy. And then I began to get into a little bit of the substance abuse world out in Texas. And that's how I actually end up in the doing a lot of the programs, group home programs, where I've done with behavior kids. Also, I worked a little with autistic kids. And then here lately, the last couple, 10 years, I've been dealing with substance abuse adults.
So you were in a group home yourself before you start sponsoring group homes? Is that what
Well,
you're saying?
actually, I worked in the group home myself, and then I owned my own group home. It was at the time it was only like 2 or 3 of us in Pitt County, African Americans that had group homes, and I was one of them. And pretty much that's where it all started.
Okay.
So I know one thing about you. Empowering men is very important to you. And can you talk to us about what are some of your ideals when it comes to? Well, we'll take a moment on that. We'll come back to that. Let me ask you this: we like to start a fight in here every blue moon. So, what's your favorite football team?
The Panthers.
My guy.
The Carolina Panthers.
All right. Yes.
Most definitely.
You qualify for free counseling. Any Panther fan, any Hornet fan, they
Oh, wait a
qualify
minute now.
for.
Who's your favorite basketball team?
Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
Okay, you good there. You good there. I think
Well,
you're
look,
sound.
now
You're of
who's your
sound
secondary
mind.
basketball favorite team?
The secondary, at this time, I would have to say Houston.
You were supposed to say the Lakers. You missed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I
You
hate
missed
the
it.
See,
Oh, what? Oh, you done messed up
See,
with
that's
us.
what they call leading the witness. You know what I'm saying? It's like they were leading you to that.
Some
Right,
witnesses need to be led.
Yeah,
Some
that's
witnesses
right.
need to be
We're
led.
trying to bring you back. Then you trailed right off. And Elder, he's no better. He's a Knicks fan.
Oh, Knicks, okay.
Yeah.
You don't do
They're
that, do
doing
you?
good, so it's hard to talk junk.
I
to
can
him.
go with the Knicks.
You can go with the Knicks.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
no.
I'm from Long Island.
Don't go with the
New York,
Knicks.
so I
Oh, okay.
I can go with
Okay.
the Knicks.
See,
Don't go with the
so
Knicks.
we didn't even know that. We didn't even know that. Anywho, now we'll get back to your empowerment of men. What are some of your why is it important empowering men?
Well, that's men is where it all starts at.
Okay.
Us as being men. We are when things don't go right, things are going wrong. We are going to be the first person that everybody points at. Is the man. Things ain't going right in the house. Things ain't going right somewhere. The first thing I want to know is where's the man of the house at. And it can it puts a lot of pressure and can put pressure on men in this day and time because we are the forefront. And it's very important that we are able to hold our ground. It's very important that we are able to be led by God, definitely, in order to sustain, to give that support that the family needs.
So men, a lot of men end up in positions of responsibility, whether it be in the home, church, or wherever, and a lot of them just didn't have the background that prepared them for that responsibility. And instead of condemning them, what you're doing is you're trying to empower them. Now you try to catch them while they're young, right?
Yes.
So that you can. What are the specific things you try to input into their life so that they will be well prepared when they become fathers, husbands, job seekers, that kind of thing?
The first thing I try to put into them is, a young man is that to let him understand that, he needs a relationship with God, okay? And then he also, he needs to educate himself. If it be by skill set or getting a trade or going into the military, whatever it is he needs to do to educate himself. And then with all of that being said, me personally, because I come from the entrepreneur world, I definitely try to instill in every young man to open up his own business, own his own house at an early age. That wasn't taught to me at an early age about credit and being able to do things as an entrepreneur, because no one's never you're not gonna get paid for what you're worth. So being an entrepreneur is a way to be able to put all of your ability, all of what it is that you have learned into yourself, and make a living from it. And it brings job security for yourself and your family.
I've seen young men start businesses when they're real young. Sometimes it starts with raking yards, cutting grass, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not going to say it's easy, but there are a lot of opportunities for young men that you can instill vision in them, and it sounds like that's what you're doing.
Yes.
you're kind of opening up their eyes to see that there are things you can do that will enrich you, and so that's good to hear. How long you been doing this?
Right at 18 years or more.
That's good. I'm not going to ask you how old you are now, but I'm just going to assume that 18 years old, that's a long stretch back.
I have a question for you. How did you start your faith journey?
I started my faith journey. Well, you know, I started with my grandparents, my granddad. You know, I used to, when I was in, because, you know, we were living in New York, and then I would come down south, you know, to see my grandparents. And, you know, my mom and dad, at that time, my mom and dad, they weren't really religious at all.
Okay.
But when I came down south with my grandparents, you know, just sort of funny, I would just hop in the bed, and my grandfather used to come wake me up or get me out of bed and say, "Have you prayed?"
Oh,
You know, and he would get on his knees, and we both would get on our knees, and we began to pray. But with that being said, you know, I began to start asking questions as I got a little older about who we praying to. And that opened up the discussion about who God was, and that's pretty much where it started at for me.
oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's a blessing.
And you, how do you interject that into your relationship with the young men that you work with? How do you get that along with empowering them to be able to take care of themselves and their families? And how do you get that faith in there?
Well, you know, sometimes it's difficult, you know, depending on, you know, the culture, or depending on, you know, the individual household, what's going on in his household at the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes, you know, because when you start talking about God, you know, we sort of have to, you know, I hate to use the word, but, you know, with young people, we sometimes have to say things to slip it in there.
Just slip.
Or to, maybe talk about different things other than God. But in the back of your mind, you know, you're gonna make that move.
Yeah.
And slip it in there on them. You know.
Wisdom.
Would you say that you would, I mean to get in, but would you say maybe start with right and wrong?
Yes, most definitely starting with right and wrong. Most definitely. That's the core of it. You know, but you know, the thing about that also too is that a lot of kids, you know, and once you get a certain age, you know what's right and wrong. From what I've seen through my lenses, is that the wrong is not being chastised. You know, it's not being when kids are doing wrong. You know, you get some parents that's not holding their hand to the fire.
Yeah.
About what they're doing.
Yeah. That
They're
accountability.
they haven't learned to be accountable.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
their,
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, so knowing right and wrong is one thing, but having the discipline to choose right over wrong, that's a whole nother story. Because I remember when I was growing up, I knew right from wrong, but I didn't have the discipline, you know, to, you know, if I go in a grocery store and I'm hungry, and them grapes are just sitting up there, and them M&Ms, I used to wear them big coats, cut a hole in the lining, drop whatever you want down there in that lining, and walk right out. I just didn't have the discipline. I knew it was wrong. That's why I was trying to cover it up.
No, the pastor confessing.
But that's the
The
blood of Jesus.
Yeah, I had the opposite of that. You know, my dad. You know, I had friends that would do what you just stated, and I remember there was old lady that had a store, but she would have this lady to help her when she wasn't there. This lady couldn't see. So the kids would find out that she's working. So everybody in the neighborhood was like, "Hey, she working today. She working today."
Oh man,
Let's
that's cold.
Let's hit the store. You know, and they would go in there and take cookies, and I wouldn't go in the store because I just thought of, only thing I could just think, if we got caught, what would happen
Yeah, yeah.
when I got home, because my dad didn't play. He would tie them switches together, and I just won't try to go through that. I get the cookies when they get it in their pocket.
Uh-huh. You get it from them.
I do
That's
the
it.
assess. I'll be just assessed to it. Like,
Yeah, after the fact. Hey, look, it's interesting that
Go ahead, sir.
it's interesting that that you would come down and be with you say your parents weren't that into the faith, but you would come down and you got that exposure with your grandparents.
Yes.
That sounds like God in his wise providence intervened in the affairs of man. He knew where he wanted you, what he wanted you to be. So he made sure you got what you needed. It may have just been a thought in somebody's mind to let you come down and be with grandpa and grandma, but in God's eyes, it was part of the plan.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So even in that, it seemed like you had a rarity that a lot of people didn't have. You had a father in the home. Can you talk about that, the importance of that?
Yes, I did. I had a father in the home. I not only that, I had a soldier and a giant in the home.
Oh, my.
He took care of us, and he chastised us, and if you was wrong, you was wrong. He wasn't he wasn't someone who feared God himself, but because of the way he was raised, because my grandfather or his father was a bishop. I used to ask him, why don't he would go to church every now and then. But I used to ask him, why you don't go to church more? He said, if you went to church as much as I did when I was little,
Yeah.
I was about sick of church, But with that being said, he was not or is not a God-fearing man, but he taught morals. He taught family foundation. If you did wrong, I'm gonna hold your hand to the fire. That kind of thing. And then he also taught me what a man is supposed to, what it looks like to provide for his family, and so on. So,
The principles.
yes.
You taught the principles. I think that's a lot of times we get caught, and that's important what you're saying, because, my mother was, she was in church and all that, and she kind of raised me, but she would send me down here to her parents because she understood, granddad was a farmer.
Uh-huh.
So she understood the importance of work.
And what you were
And
going to
she
get
knew
while
what,
you were down there.
how things would work when I got down here. And those old folks, being around them, that's an important deal. I mean, I hear what you're saying when you say they send you down, because wasn't nothing up there in the streets. They want to send you down here where you could learn something.
Yeah.
Am I
most
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, I
So
did,
that's good stuff.
yeah, I did not have a father in the home. And I look back and I understand how tough it is on single mothers.
Oh, yeah.
Especially back then, because my mother had 7 kids. Wow. No man and no husband in the home. He left. My wife's mother had 14 with no husband in the home. When you've got to survive and take care of that many kids on your own, making sure that they're fed and have a place to stay, a lot of times discipline is not the top priority. So I understand. I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm just saying there's a lot of pressure on single mothers, even if they only have 3 kids or 2. There's a lot of pressure to make sure that they get the things that's going to keep them alive, keep them from getting sick. And so sometimes discipline just get,
Well,
back burner.
You know what? It's fascinating that you said that. And in the frame of this conversation, I saw the strategy what my mother used. She had 4 brothers. And so she would always send me around my uncles.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? When she sent me down here, it was around granddad. So she put those men in my life. You know what I'm saying? To instill those things. So instill rather those principles.
That's good. That's good. Well, it's real important, and we know that we know this, and but a lot of times we don't really say men need men.
Yes.
A lot of times people, a woman might get up and say, I'm the mother and the father. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
You're a good mama. You're an excellent mother, but you ain't the mother
That's
and
a
the
good
father.
point. Good point.
So
I used to, when I think about, I used to, as a young man coming up, if I met a young lady and I came to her house, the first thing I asked her is, where your daddy at?
yeah, yeah. Look, and that's something. Look, and on that note, we're gonna take our first sponsorship. That was a lot of wisdom in there. We're gonna take our first sponsorship break. We're on Real Talk for Real Men on Awesome Radio Network. We'll talk to you after the sponsorship break.
Awesome Radio Network is gearing up for our annual Mother's Day and Father's Day gift bag giving for the residents at McGregor Downs Health Center. $10 will sponsor one bag. If you would like to donate towards this community event, contact us 252-756-3137. And together we can show the love of Jesus, encourage and brighten the hearts of the residents during their stay at the McGregor Downs Health Center, Greenville. Donor's name, organization can be attached to the cards if desired. To learn more about this annual community event, contact us at 252-756-3137. That's 252-756-3137. We are a 501c3 organization under Community Care Fellowship doing business as Awesome Radio Network, where God gets the glory.
The Power News Radio Network. In 1988, Reverend Jesse Jackson ran for president for the second time. At the Democratic Convention, he said 3 words at the end of his speech that became a catchphrase for a lifetime.
When you see Jesse Jackson, when my name goes in nomination, your name goes in nomination. I was born in the slum, but the slum was not born in me. And it wasn't born in you, and you can make it. You may or may not get there, but just know that you're qualified, and you hold on and hold out. We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
2021 Black History Knowledge from the Power News Radio Network.
I am Miss Mary Cox. I'm Keller Pippin's mother from Awesome Radio. Awesome Radio. Yeah. It's awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Surely in the family, God is with me. Surely in the family, God is with me. Surely in the family, God is with me.
Hey, we're back on Awesome Radio Network, Real Talk for Real Men. Our special guest is Senior Pastor, Daniel Moore.
Oh, you can call me brother.
I know.
I'm good with that.
Well, look, we have fun in here too, so we know you. So let's say this. We understand that black churches served as the cornerstone of the civil rights movement by providing central meeting spaces, organizing logistics for protests, and offering essential emotional and spiritual support to activists. As autonomous community-controlled institutions, they served as headquarters for strategy, leadership development, and fostering nonviolent resistance while fostering economic, educational, and social services. And on that note, I want to pass the ball to Elder Nat Farrell. Can you talk a little bit about that with us, please?
Well, I think that was a good introduction to it, and even the promo that before we came
Yes.
came back, you know how it was talking about Reverend Jesse Jackson. I think when you look back with our history here in America, pastors, because they were allowed to, they couldn't read other stuff, but they thought it was negative. We just let them read the Bible. And God used that and said, yeah, okay, yeah, let them read my word. And see, and then we figured out where the truth was in it and not what they were telling us it was. And pastors began to be the ones that educated the rest of the folks. And they've always been the leaders. And it's been mostly men. You know, it's you know, there were women, but it's been mostly men. Yeah. And we need to understand that and to see when you look back from Frederick Douglass to, I was listening to Congressman Jim Clyburn last night, and he just wrote a book about the first 8. You know, after the Civil War, the 8 members of that went to Congress because we could vote then. After 1870, during that little short period of Reconstruction, you know, those guys came out of South Carolina, you know, the 8 congressmen and the 1 senator. And so, but they were mostly ministers. And throughout our history, we've had that. That's why my bookmark this year, I dealt with what they call downtown. See, before the town commons, there was a community down there. Downtown. Now I see that they're starting to call it downtown again. They tried to turn it to uptown, but now it's downtown again. And on the cover, I have the Cornerstone Missionary Baptist Church. The church was right there on the corner. If you turn it over, you see the church was that foundation
And the cornerstone.
Right.
Pun intended.
Right. No, and that's the church has been the cornerstone in the community, and I think that's a important factor to understand when it comes to our history. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, even the leaders within the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s, they were ministers. Yes. The SCLC was the religious organization. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So I don't know. Y'all can get in. It's not.
Yes. Tell us about it. What do you think about that?
Yes, I was. Give me the question again.
Tell us more about how you've seen the church being a cornerstone, even when it came to civil rights.
Oh yes. Just going back as a little boy. Of course, we. The church has evolved, in a different, not a different way, but the church I went to with my grandparents, they had a pump that you pump the water.
Yeah. You had to prime it.
You had to take a little cup and prime the water. We didn't have no musicians and drummers, but they would tap their feet. They would tap their feet, and they had these, what do you call those things? Those
tambourines.
Yeah. They had them. They had those tambourines, and I know this may, and what brings to my attention about the church is going with Elder here about the pastors back then, were I'm not saying pastors now not strong men, but a lot of the pastors back then were strong community men. They would they had no problem walk right in the juke joint and the music would stop, and I had a grandfather I seen walk right up to him where they drinking the beer. And they would throw the beer all in the ditch just because he was coming up. Oh, and then he would get there. He would get there and pray with them. So they were, like Elder was saying, the pastors back then were well respected. They were community men. They didn't have a lot. Some of them didn't have a lot, but they was able to bring the community together. It wasn't where they had a lot, but they had a lot of love. There was a lot of love there.
And you know what? To go along with that, they were teaching and leading what we might call today the resistance, because the Jim Crow laws was tight against everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that a lot of people don't understand that a lot of the voting and the things that we do today came out of those folks and the movement.
Yes.
That's why I see folks that come here and they rah, and we're trying to say, wait a minute, we've been fighting this fight for a long time. We know what we're doing here. And they don't seem to understand that a lot of the fact that they got here, now they can benefit from the struggle that we've been going through and that these pastors and these leaders led. You see what I'm saying? They're benefiting from that.
Yeah, and the stem of just the stem of the civil rights movement, moved from the cornerstone of the church.
Yeah.
These leaders that came, that came and fought for civil rights. Those that died for civil rights, and if you trace them back, they came from the church. Just that. You got to have something on the inside, just to be, for these men back then. And we at this table, at this panel, I know we know what they had on the inside, to just attempt and succeed in some of the things they've done, and that's that dunamis power, that's that Holy Spirit, that fire.
That's right. That's right.
And saying, for God I live and for God I die.
But we understand that a lot of the things that they taught and a lot of the things that they fought for were biblical things, really.
Yeah.
And you had folks out there calling themselves Christians, yet they were not living that.
Yeah.
And you have that going on today, too. I've been thinking about this thing. I know we're getting ready to come up on a break. But when Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, there's a coordinated effort, seems like, against truth. And when he said when the helper comes, he'll lead us into all truth. I believe that's all truth.
Yeah.
So that means when you see that hypocrisy, you can tell it because he's letting you know that's what it is. But go ahead, Pastor Lawson. I'll let you take us into.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, during slavery time, one of the ways that they kept slaves, that kept that institution going, was don't let them learn how to read. But then because of the faith, and some of them wanted to reach out with the faith, then they allowed preachers to be able to read so that they could teach the Bible, because they weren't going to teach them. So we're coming up on a break right now. Real Talk for Real Men, Awesome Radio. We'll see you.
Coming soon to this network, mental health and substance use addiction. What is your conviction? Hello, my name is Apostle Gary Lee, and I'm a licensed clinical addiction specialist and the pastor of Spirit and Truth Worship Center. I will be the host, bringing you insight on the challenges of mental illness and substance use addiction and how they affect our communities. We will explore ways to address these issues with explaining treatment methods and spiritual enlightenment. I invite you to join us every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on this network. If you have any questions or would like to contribute or be a guest, please reach out to me via email at apostlegarylee@gmail.com. Again, that's apostlegarylee@gmail.com. I look forward to seeing you and engaging with you concerning these issues, and I pray that God bless you and heaven continue to shine upon you.
Youth Explosion at A Touch of God's Presence Ministries, 1300 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville, empowering the next generation. March 14th, beginning 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Guest speakers Elijah Mitchell and Elder Alvin Watkins. Everyone is invited to attend. For more information, contact us 252-427-2892 or 252-695-9007. Host Pastor Apostle Valeria McLeod. Youth Explosion, empowering the next generation. March 14th, beginning 2 p.m. at A Touch of God's Presence Ministries, 1300 Dickinson Avenue, Greenville.
Hello, my name is Daniel from Greenville. We appreciate you for listening to Awesome Radio.
Awesome Radio, yes, awesome, awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Surely in the family, God is with me. Surely in the family, God is with me. Surely in the family, God is with me.
All right, I'm excited about this section. I wanted to say rest in peace to Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Yes.
He was a very important part of our civil rights movement. I want to go now. I want to take this pivot also. Pastor Moore, let's talk. I've been waiting for this segment, this half. Let's talk about what you do in the community, you as a pastor, your businesses. Just unload some of the things that you do. I know you through Pro Worker, that you have a company called Pro Worker. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Pro Worker is a company that provides transportation to mental health and substance abuse clients to get to treatment. We also, by doing that, we're also bringing awareness to the community of different programs that are out there that clients are able to take, to receive the treatment from. Also, we do a little things also with men that are. I'll have to say that we have dealt with men and are dealing with men that are that are lost. They are homeless, and they are hopeless. Being able to bring that spiritual effect in their lives concerning God about their situation.
How have you? What programs do you use through your church to empower men? How do you use your ministry to empower men?
Well, right now is the program is Man Down, Man Up.
Okay, tell us about it.
Man Down, Man Up is a program that it's a group of men that pretty much we are well established, and we actually go out and go out into the community. A lot of times what we have found out that that a man is down, and a lot of times it's not for a lot of the reasons that people think it is. He could be down because he just need driver license to get to work, or he may be down because he has no way to work, or he may be down because he wants to work on his GED to try to better get a better education where he can get a job or a decent job. And what we do is we come in and at some point we selectively choose men that have selective issues, and we come together, whatever it is, the group of men of those that are established, we come together for that one cause or two calls or three calls for that one individual man, one at a time, to bring him up.
So you focus on the one things at a time.
That is correct.
Oh, wonderful. So how do y'all have any kind of graduation ceremony or any kind of thing?
Because because right now we will have a annually graduation, and we do have right now we probably have about 8 to 10 candidates that we have provided this service to that are doing very well. So we will have some kind of recognition annually coming up.
I love that you have that instituted in ministry. So how long have you been doing that?
Well, Man Down, Man Up is fairly new, but I've been doing it with men on my own. Just that God gave me something to be able to bring collectively to bring some guys in, some men in to help us out with it.
And so I love that because that's a lot of times people always try to find the title before they find the work. And a lot of times what Jesus, I said, Lord, I went to Jesus, but I want to say God in the beginning, and he brought woman to Adam. Adam named, hey, you woman, you flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. You came from my side. I'm going to call you woe man, good God Almighty. You the man with the wound. Then you turn around, he went through the garden, he named everything in there. But I think he named things by what he saw them doing. And oftentimes, we ought to understand that when we find the who when it comes to ministry, you find that's how you do what you do. And I love that you're doing that with your men. Tell us more. What else do you do?
Is it men only?
Well, we had our first around the table event, and we had a panel of men from all walks of different experiences, life. They have sort of successful different careers, and we put them on a panel, and then we had all of these men. And we had our topic, and they were able to ask these questions. Of course, at my church we have we ate breakfast first. And,
Very important.
So we're gonna start having them every quarterly, every quarterly on Saturdays. But to answer Pastor question is that some of these panels are also going to include women.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Tell us. Talk. You got the mic. Talk to us. we here ready to hear. Hey, tell us what you're doing and what your passions are. What are some of the things? Let me say this. I know you, so I can ask you this. I can guide you into it. I've seen you got an enormous boat. Tell us about where did that come from? What got you into? I love boats. In case you didn't know.
Well, Well, of course, coming out of the Navy, I was in the Navy, and I love the water, and I came across, a yacht years ago, and right now it's funny because I have 3 boats, and in the last probably 2 years, I've probably only been out one time.
I might need to let me help you out with it. I'm concerned about you. You need some more water.
You need to babysit your boat.
You really do.
So I mean,
your boats on the water.
Yeah, and not only that, we have we have other things, like we have a tour bus and different things of that nature. But what I've learned here is that these material things, the way God has sort of shift things in my life to understand that these material things that we have in life, they really don't belong to us.
Right.
You can't take them when you leave here.
That's right.
So what I began to do is take some of those things and sort of mold them and shape them to the point where they're used for ministry.
Yes, sir.
Now, here lately, I took the tour bus and we went saltwater fishing out in Virginia Beach. I got on a yacht. And,
wait a minute, how I missed that? Go ahead, talk to me.
Me and some of the guys, we got on the yacht down in Virginia and caught some fish out there. And before that, we got on I have an RV. We some of the guys who got on the RV, and we had so many to go. We took the tour bus behind the RV, and we went to.
I love that.
We went. I like drag racing. Went to the track.
Okay, what track?
Down in South Carolina.
Okay.
And so I mean, it's
This is good.
you take in the beginning, you felt like this is my stuff, and I'll use it personally. But now, as God began to deal with your heart and,
that's so
and
good.
deal with you with why are we here?
Yeah.
You understand that God has blessed you, that you're able to bless others.
I love how you
Amen.
said that. One thing that we realized, Jesus told Peter, told the disciples, told the apostles, I'm going to make you fishers of men. They were fishermen.
Yeah.
But then he took what they already had an ability to do and showed them this actually is in your purpose to do. And I love that because I also know, and you didn't talk about this, I remember you telling me that you're going to take some men to the rodeo. Did you ever do that?
No, we didn't go to the rodeo, but we are getting ready to go to the monster truck event. And my wife it's supposed to have been texting me that information.
Okay.
We are taking some group of guys to the monster truck event.
Okay. Now let me say this. I do know this about you as well. How often have you took men to a football game? And where have you taken them?
Football game.
Or are you?
Yeah. We are. We have a yearly thing now where we have it on the calendar.
Okay.
And we were going. We was on board of going to the Ravens and the Cowboys.
Okay.
Not too long ago. But we are definitely going to take that trip. And we just had we had a trip going to. Just happened. One of my guys that played the keyboard for the church, he owns a shuttle bus.
Okay.
And he was like, Pastor, just put the gas in there and let's ride. So we're gonna do some things.
And that's important. This is what I love. Everything that you said to me. We understand that slavery, because of slavery back in the day, they didn't take men over 2 miles. Well, not just men. They didn't take slaves out of 2 miles of where they were, because of the simple fact they wanted them to stay in the area, not no paths to run. If you're gonna try to run, to get out of, to get away from slavery. So they kept them localized, kept them limited. And a lot of times I found out through the years of trying to take young people to different places, taking them to colleges, taking them to different step shows, this, that, the other, taking them around, taking them to museums, places they generally wouldn't go, take them to a different city. It broadened their horizons, and it gave them something different to look forward to, because a lot of times young people get in trouble because they think that all that they see is all that there is out there. And I love the fact that you take men. There's a lot of genius that come to take men into, especially men. A lot of times men will go to prison, go to different places, following their homeboys. But because you take men to these different outlets, you help them stretch their vision.
Yeah.
And see that, then they see you as a businessman. Hey, I might could do this one day. I could be somebody. Talk to me.
Well, it's amazing that you say that, because when we went on some of these trips out of town, and it was surprisingly to hear from some of them saying, Pastor, I've never been to a steakhouse before. I mean,
Oh, wow.
never
Lord,
been.
help us all.
He always fought. This young man, always fought to try to just keep a roof over his head.
Yeah.
And his thing to survive was burgers or whatever it was. But to actually sit down and in a steakhouse, he said, Pastor's first time ever.
Wow.
I ever sat down in a steakhouse, and I asked him how he feel. He said, I feel good. He said that, I feel like I belong somewhere.
That's important.
Just sitting here, So, sometimes, you had to turn your head to keep from crying.
Yeah.
But definitely getting them to see what's out there, getting them to experience another side of life, because and for me, that is the rewarding part for me, to actually to see a man change from one stage to another.
Yes.
And one time I had to call him every time when it was time to go to church, and now he beats me to church.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So I mean that's the transition that is rewarding to be able to vision that.
That's an exposure to other things. I think, what is the thing you had in the Navy? Join the Navy, see the world. I know, I'm a Marine, so I understand. Yeah. The Navy took us everywhere we went. But that was good for me. So I understand that that's really a blessing to be able to do that for men, because once you get exposure outside of, and I know y'all have all traveled, but outside of that immediate place, it broadens your view of the world. And then it can help you get involved in other things. So,
Well, and the lesson the real lesson that it has taught me is that I hate to be cliched about you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
We got it. False line.
Okay. Go ahead. Can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I hate to be cliche that you can't judge a book by its cover, but to be able to what has taught me a lesson is that what people think is the problem with a person, because they looking from the outside in, because they see them in a shelter, or because they see them trying to they're wandering around and trying to find somewhere to go, or they're just wandering around and you driving by and you see somebody walking with their bags. You think that they'll be all right, they're okay, they'll find their way. But I have found out that stop what you're doing sometime and ask, are you okay?
I'm laughing because Bible study last night, we were talking about the Good Samaritan.
Yes, we were.
And it was fascinating because I was kind of keyed. He had me, started off. And I was kind of keying on the priest and the Levite. The priest came by, he didn't even stop. He kept going. He saw the guy and he went to the other side. The Levite came and looked. And then he went on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. A lot of times we'll look, but for whatever reason, we don't want to stop and spend that time like the Samaritan. So I just thought that was kind of into what you were saying.
And you'll find out, all the listeners out there, you'll find out if you stop and take that time, that 2 minutes, 5 minutes, just to ask, are you okay? Or to stop and, we the church.
Yes.
We the church. That building that we're going in is not the church.
Come on, sir.
We are the church. So stop. Let the church, I'm telling you, the church need to stop. When you have time, stop and ask, and are you okay? Or just stop and say, listen, do you know Jesus? Do you know he loves you? I mean, come on, guys. It don't take a minute to say that. But we so busy on our way sometimes to do nothing.
Come on, sir.
We will not stop. We could be at the light and will not, and the person come and we will not stop and ask, do you know Christ? Are you okay? And the last thing I want to say is that you will be surprised. You will be surprised to hear what some of them have to say. You will be surprised. And you will also be surprised to hear how some of them are entrapped or got entrapped in the situation that they're in.
And
That's amazing.
We have about a minute left. Keep talk to us And then at the end, we're gonna want to hear where your church is again.
Yeah, so it is it's amazing for us to be the church, and we can jump in our cars and we could turn the heat on, and we go to the building, go to the church, and some of us get on the chandeliers and swing around the church and climb the walls and get in our car and ride right back through the same neighborhood.
Same neighborhood.
See them same people
Yes.
that are in need, and come right out. We the church now, come right out of the building and say, we had a great time in church. The pastor preached, you got the message, and I guarantee you that message had everything to do with something about dealing with love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we missed the mark because we went home, got up, ate our collard greens,
Yes, sir.
and went to sleep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Amen. And on that note, where are you located, Pastor?
We are located in Charles Boulevard, 2001 Charles Boulevard, Greenville, North Carolina. We are right across the street from the mall.
Your church name?
The church name is Kingdom of God Deliverance Church.
All right. And on that note, we're on Awesome Radio Network. Real Talk for Real Men. We'll talk to you next week.
You with me.